a quick little workout that you can use at home, or if you're on the go, traveling for work, or if you're just on vacation and you want to keep up your Pilates practice. These are some of my favorite exercises. If you have any injuries or limitations that prevent you from doing some of the movements, you can skip over those. Make sure you check with your doctor to make sure that you're okay to proceed with an exercise program like this. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with one of my favorite movements, hip rolls, just to mobilize the spine. I'm going to have my feet hip distance apart. If you're wondering where your hips are, just feel in the front of your pelvis where those bones are, or the sit bones here in your bum, heels in line with those bones there, arms long by your side. Neutral spine, so just that little space under the lower back, pelvis is level. Take a breath in. On your exhale, feel your abdominals scooping in. Press all 10 toes into the floor as you roll the spine up bone by bone. As you come up to this position here, neutral spine, so I'm not flaring my ribs, but I'm keeping one straight line from shoulder, ribs, hips to knees. Take a breath in at the top and exhale as you curl down bone by bone, coming back out to your neutral. Take a breath in to stay. Exhale, imprint, scoop, and press your feet into the mat. Rolling up, keep your abdominals pulled in. Take a breath in to lengthen, and exhale as you curl back through to neutral. I like to do this about 3 or 4 times. Feels great to get started. Make sure your knees aren't falling out. Imagine there's a yoga block there in between your knees that you're squeezing the whole time. And last one. Scooping up and in. Make sure your big toes are still on the mat. And curl back down. And come back out to that neutral. You can bring your arms up now in front of your shoulders, palms facing in. And just to mobilize the shoulder joint and wake up the back muscles. Protraction and retraction of the scapula. So my arms are staying stretched. It's a very small movement. I'm not tensing up in the neck and shoulders, and I'm not changing the shape of my spine, just gliding the shoulder blades in and around the rib cage. Good, and then somewhere in between those two positions, find your neutral again, and arms circles. Inhale and exhale. Nice and wide without losing that neutral. Feel the stretch through the chest and arms. Keeping that neutral, and then reverse. And 4 or 5 times in each direction. And then arms down by your side, ab prep, keeping that little space here. I'd like to imagine the raspberry underneath your lower back. Try not to squish it. I'm going to keep my hips, my bum relaxed, nod the chin down toward the chest to lengthen the back of the neck. And then exhale, curling up. Think of your nose going between your knees here, keeping the pelvis level, arms just floating above the mat. Inhale to hold, and exhale, release down. If this doesn't work for your neck, you can always take a hand behind the head to support. If you're using one hand, make sure you switch. Nod the chin, elbows slightly forward. Or you can use both hands, nod the chin, curl up, and make sure your elbows aren't back here, but slightly forward. Tailbone heavy, and release. I'll do one more, nod the chin, exhale, curl up. If you really want, you can add a few pulses here. Make sure you're breathing the whole way through. Try to think of flattening the abdominals, try not to let it bulge up. Flattening, 2 and 1, and release. Good. I'm going to flip over to the tummy for breaststroke prep, 1, 2, and 3. So arms are just bent at your side, hands a little bit wider than your shoulders. Legs are nice and long, point the toes behind you. If you feel that you're cramping up in your feet, you can always flex your feet and curl the toes under. If your lower back is feeling sensitive, you can always open a little bit just to relieve some of the pressure there. So my nose is just hovering above the mat here. Zip up the abdominals as you breathe in. Exhale, press into the mat with your forearms, lifting the eyes, nose, chin, and chest, keeping your bottom ribs on the mat. So I'm not lifting up too high, keeping my elbows down, and I'm thinking of lengthening. Inhale and exhale, release down. Take a breath in to stay. Exhale, press and lengthen up and out. Bringing your gaze just forward a little bit. Take a breath in and exhale, release down. One more time. And then I'm going to bring my arms down by my side. You can let your shoulders relax here. Take a breath in. Exhale, abs tight. Long arms reaching back towards the toes. My feet are always down on the mat. Take a breath in and exhale, release down. Take a breath in to stay. Exhale, I'm not coming up quite as high now because it's getting more difficult. Take a breath in and exhale, release down. One more time. Exhale, making sure your collarbone is widening. I'm not letting my shoulders round forward, but really opening up. Lengthen, 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 and release down. Number 3 gets even harder. Hands in front of the forehead, elbows wide, take a breath in. Exhale, hovering above the mat. My hands are still against my forehead, elbows wide, take a breath in, and exhale down. Zip up your abdominals to lift up. Hold it as you inhale, and exhale, release down. Last one. And exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale, release down. After that, give your back a nice little stretch in a shell stretch. So scoop the tummy, curl, reach your arms forward, take a big breath in, and exhale, roll it up one vertebra at a time. And then we'll get into the 100. So lie back down on your back. Scoop the tummy and really think of your ribs softening in. Scoop, 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 and float the legs up to tabletop. Good. From here, you can keep your legs in the tabletop position for the 100. If you feel like you can maintain this position and the scoop in the tummy, you can stretch the legs up or out. Make sure you're not performing the 100 here with all that space under the lower back. Good. So nod the chin down and exhale. Curl up and pump the arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, then exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 20, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep the arms nice and long, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 50, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, squeezing inner thighs together, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep lifting the crown of the head, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 70, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, look at your abs, scoop them in, 2, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 90, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 100. Hold it here. See if you can curl just a little bit higher. Bend your knees in, lower the head down. Take one foot down, and then the other. The 100 is done. Next, I like to do the roll up. So stretch your legs out nice and long. Keep your spine neutral, so make sure that your lower back didn't just arch off of the mat. Keep that connection with your abdominals. Flex your feet nice and strong and reach your arms back. Don't let your arms go so far back that your ribs just pop away from the mat. You want to think about right about where your bra strap is or would be down on the mat. So only go as far back as you can maintain that. Inhale, you nod the chin and bring your arms up. Exhale, you're going to peel your spine off of the mat. Imagine there's a ball on your lap and you're going up and over to the other side, reaching beyond your toes. Stay nice and round as you curl back, scooping the tummy, getting that lower back to touch down and come back out to neutral. Don't let the ribs pop. Let me just straighten out on the mat here. Inhale, nod the chin and reach. Exhale, scoop the belly up and over. Make sure you can see all 10 toes equally. Try not to let your big toes be closer to you and then your pinky toes farther away. All 10 toes. Get that nice stretch as you curl back, shoulders out of the ears. The lower your arms are here, the easier it is. The higher your arms are, the more your abdominals have to work. Inhale, nod the chin. Same goes for coming up. If you keep your arms higher, makes it more challenging. Up and over, and curl it back. Make sure you're breathing the whole way through. Now if you're having trouble coming up, you can bend your knees for the roll-up phase. And then stretch your legs out nice and long. Get that nice stretch. And you can keep your legs straight as you roll down, or if you need to, you can bend your knees again. Now, if you're still having trouble with your knees bent, use your hands to help give you a little lift. And again, you can stretch out just so you can get that nice stretch through the hamstrings in the back. And if you need to, again, you can use your arms to assist. Just make sure your shoulders are out of your ears. And I like to do about 8 of these. I've lost count. If you take classes with me, you'll notice I don't always keep an accurate count there either. Let's do one more because I do love this exercise. Good. Do 8 of each exercise. So abs scooped in. Again, only stretch your legs as low as you can maintain that scoop in the tummy. Legs float up to tabletop. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale, curl up. Take your hands next to your knees. And I'm going to stretch one leg out. I take both hands to the other knee here that's bent. Inhale, exhale, switch, and switch. And as I'm performing this, I'm trying to make sure my pelvis stays level, that I'm not dropping side to side. Keep the crown of the head lifting up toward the ceiling, nose toward the knees. Maybe 2 more. Bring both knees in. You can give your head a little break. And then we'll go into double leg stretch. So nod the chin, curling up. And exhale, reach arms and legs away. The crown of the head stays lifted, abs are scooped. Inhale, circle wide back to your tabletop. Exhale, scoop and reach. Make sure you're not going to hit anything in wherever you're performing these exercises. And in. Exhale. And 3 more. And 2. And 1. And go ahead and let your head come down for a little break. If you have too much tension in the neck, you can rock your head side to side. We're going to go into scissors followed by obliques. So nod the chin, curling up, stretch the legs as straight as you can get them. Take one leg and pull it toward your nose. You're going to pulse the bottom leg away from the body. 1, 2. Inhale as you switch. Pull the opposite leg toward your nose. Pulse the bottom leg away. 1, 2. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2. Keeping the pelvis square. 2, 1, 2. Keeping the scoop in the tummy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If you're into more of a challenge for the abdominals and less of a stretch for the legs, you can reach the arms away. But I personally like this stretch. Last set, I think. Again, about 8. Bring both legs up, bend the knees in, and lower the head down. We're going to finish with obliques, so take the hands behind the head. And really think of cradling the base of your skull with your hands. Elbows lifting slightly toward the ceiling. And then I'm going to nod my chin and curl forward. Good. Now I'm going to twist toward the bent knee. Stretch the other leg away. And think more about rotating your collarbone to the side. Inhale as you bend the knee in, turn to the center. And then exhale, twist to the opposite side, stretch the other leg away. Inhale, exhale, twist. Don't think about knee and elbow meeting in the middle. Think more about the twist of the upper body. If it's too much with the movement of the legs, you can keep both legs in tabletop. And if it's too much for you, the feet can come down to the mat and continue with the twist. And here you can keep your tailbone heavy because your feet are supported down on the mat. And after the last one, Bring your body back to center and lower the head down if your feet are still in the air. One foot down and then the other. And abs are feeling nice and worked out. I'm gonna flip over to the tummy and we're gonna go into heel squeeze prone for glutes and hamstrings, and then swan dive prep, just to get a little bit more back extension, especially if you've been traveling or working. You need to open up the chest and strengthen the back muscles. So with heel squeeze prone, I'm going to have my legs about hip distance apart, bend the knees and flex the feet. So my heels are squeezing in the center, toes are pointing out. Place my hands under my forehead and I can just let my head, neck, and shoulders relax. I'm gonna keep it up for a second though, as I explain. I want you to think about keeping your pelvis down on the mat. So think of pushing your pubic bone down against the mat and lifting your abdominals in at the same time. I don't want you to perform this exercise with your bum in the air and your pelvis away from the mat. So keep that press down, shoulders relaxed away from your ears. And all you're gonna do is exhale, squeeze the heels together, and then inhale, release. Exhale, abs tight as you squeeze, and inhale, release. And I'm just gonna turn my head to the side so that you're not hearing my muffled voice. Squeeze, and release, and exhale, squeeze, and release. We'll do 4 more, squeeze, and release. 3 more, exhale, abs tight. And 2 more, exhale. Last one. And release. You can stretch your legs out along the mat. If you need a shell stretch now, go ahead and take your shell stretch now. We're gonna go into the swan dive prep next. Again, just like the breaststroke prep, keep your hands just a little bit wider than your shoulders. This time we're gonna keep our legs apart and turned out. Good. Now before you begin, I want you to think of stretching your legs even longer along your mat, pelvis down on the mat. Take a breath in to prepare, and I want you to feel your abdominals lifting up. On your exhale, press into your forearms, lift your eyes, your nose, your chin, your chest. Start to straighten your elbows, and if you can't fully straighten, that's okay. What I don't want to happen is to lock your elbows and your shoulders to be up and your ears and your lower back sinking in. I want you to feel your ribs lifting away from the mat. Collarbone is wide and your chest is open. Take a breath in. On your exhale, you're going to start to lower your body down. Think of elbows to the mat first. We get a little bit of work in the triceps. Keep lengthening and come back down. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale. Press into your forearms as you lift your eyes, your nose, your chin, your chest. So I want you looking straight ahead for this one. Pull your abdominals and ribs away from the mat. Again, collarbone is as wide as you can get it. Stretch those legs along the mat. And then on your exhale, elbows to the mat first. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And we'll do 3 more. Take a breath in. Exhale. Eyes, nose, chin, chest. Peeling away from the mat. Stretch your arms, but don't lock them. Collarbone wide. And again, if your swan is down here, that's okay. You're going to build up the strength and the flexibility eventually to stretch your arms maybe a little bit more. And then exhale as you come all the way down. And 2 more. Take a breath in. Exhale, eyes, nose, chin, chest. Abs zipped up. Keep the legs nice and long. Collarbone wide. Take a breath in. And exhale, elbows and lengthen out. Last one. Take a breath in. Exhale. Up, up, up. Crown of the head rising to the sky. Take a breath in. And exhale, elbows to the mat. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. See if you can grow a little bit taller. And down. And then take a shell stretch after this one. Scooping the tummy around the back. Reach your arms in front of you. And then roll it up 1 vertebra at a time. Next we're going to go into a side leg series. So I'm going to have you lie on your side with your supporting arm here. You can have it straight, you can bend it if you feel better propping it up. Just make sure your neck feels comfortable. And I'm going to stretch my legs out nice and long. Bring my legs a little bit forward, but keep my back straight. Make sure your tail's not tucking under. And your pelvis is stacked, so hip bones are both pointing straight ahead. And you can use your top hand to help keep your balance. If you feel comfortable enough, you can bring your arm to the top. So the first one, side leg kick. I'm gonna lift my leg in line with my hip, not any higher than that. Stretch it out even longer. Keep your abs pulled in, ribs are in. Flex the foot. Now keep your tailbone reaching back, and you're gonna flex your foot, pulse it forward. 1, 2, try to go a little bit farther. Point the toes and stretch it back without changing the spine. And flex. 1, 2, exhale, point, reach it back. And 6 more. And 5. As you're performing the movements, try not to let your shoulders be in your ears, tensing up. And press. 2 more. Point. And last one. And point. Bring your legs together, straighten out from head to toe. So now my hips are not in that flexed position. I'm gonna lift the top leg up with the toes pointed, just in line with your hip. Flex and squeeze it down. Each time I move my leg, I'm trying to get it even longer than the time before. Still thinking about abdominals pulling in. Don't let your abs fall onto the mat. Trying to keep the pelvis as steady as possible. And again, 8 times with each movement. 3, and 2, and 1. And then point that top leg up, little circle. 8, 7, 6, 5. Not forgetting the back of the circle. Sometimes we like to work in front where it's easier for the hip flexor, but we want to make the bum work. And then you reverse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that top leg up. Now bring your bottom leg up and squeeze and lower together. Inhale, top leg floats up. Exhale, squeeze the bottom leg and come down together. 6 more. Again here, watch out for the tension in the neck and shoulders. Try to keep it nice and relaxed. Again, you can bring your top arm to the hip if you feel comfortable balancing there. Inhale, exhale. I'm bobbling just a little bit more than before. 2 more, I think. And again, when you're watching this video, you'll probably notice that my counts are a little bit off. And then I'm gonna squeeze the inner thighs together, lift both legs up. Again, you can use your arm for balance or not. 6, 5, still thinking about abdominals, pulling in. 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Now, depending on your bottom arm position, you might need to stretch it out now. Palm is flat on the mat. And again, you keep your top arm to help you with balance. I'm gonna lift my legs at the same time. I'm gonna press into the mat with my bottom arm and lift my upper body. Trying to still think of length, so I'm not crunching myself in half, but lengthening and lifting and coming down. So we're working a little bit more into the obliques in addition to the hips and inner thighs. Abdominals, of course, a little bit of upper body, a little bit of everything. And trying to come down smoothly. Again, if you want to test your balance with the top arm, think of almost chasing the toes with that top arm. 3, whoop, and 2, and 1. And then we're ready to do it all on the other side. Let me swing around. Again, position your bottom arm where you feel comfortable. And then for the first exercise, my back stays straight. I'm just gonna bring my legs forward of my body so that my hips are a little bit of flexion here. So lengthen the waistline, lift that top leg up in line with your hip joint, flex your foot, find where your maximum stretch is while keeping your neutral pelvis. Flex 1, pulse it 2, point, and reach it back without changing the spine. So really pull the abdominals in here and inhale 1, 2, flex, point, reach it back and inhale 1 and 2, point, reach it back and flex 1, 2, point, stretch it back and inhale and exhale and reach 2 Be careful of the leg lifting up back here. Keep it nice and level. Last one. And reach it back. Now bring both legs together, straight line from head to toe. So adjust your position, shoulders still relaxed, ribs and abs still in. Point that top leg up. Now can you make that top leg grow just a centimeter longer? And then flex the foot, reach the heel away and lower down. Inhale and exhale. 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now point that top leg up and little circle for 8, 7, 6. Try not to let the pelvis move around. 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Check in with your shoulders and neck. Make sure they're not tense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now staggered leg. Leave that top leg up. You're going to squeeze the bottom leg up to meet it and lower both together. Inhale, exhale. 6 more. 5 and 4, 3 and 2. Last one. And you should really be feeling that hip now. Both legs squeeze together and lift at the same time. And 7. So you can pretend you're a mermaid here with one fin instead of 2 legs. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we add pushing up with that bottom arm. So stretch your arm out if it's not already. Hand can stay here or go on top of the hip. And keep your pelvis stacked, abs in, and press up into that lateral flexion. Reach and down, abs tight. And 7 and 6, 5 and 4. And depending on where you're performing these exercises, you might want to add a pillow or a little cushion or a towel underneath your hip if the floor on which you're performing this is not too cushioned already. 2 and 1. Good. And after that, you can just kind of roll to your back, hug your knees to your chest, rock side to side, and you can cross one leg over just to open up the hip. Get a little stretch. You can pull that supporting leg in toward the chest. Do it on both sides. Good. Next, I'm going to go into push-ups. Now, you can do the full version. My camera doesn't have a wide enough angle lens, but standing on the floor and rolling down and walking out into your plank. I'm going to stand on the mat so my head's going to disappear for a second. So feet are hip distance apart, and I'm going to lift up nice and tall and articulate the spine down, 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 down. Make sure your knees are not locked. Weight is in between toes and heels. 4 counts to walk out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find your plank, shoulders out of your ears, and really push into the floor so that you're not sinking into your shoulder blades. Head stays right between the shoulders. If this is too much for you to perform from the feet, come down to your knees. The closer the hands are, the less of a load it is for the shoulders and arms. The farther away, the more difficult it is. So find where your position is. We'll do 1 set here. So slowly lower your body by bending your elbows. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, abs tight, push up without locking or hyperextending. And bend. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, push up. 3rd time. If you want to make it more challenging, tricep push-ups, elbows toward the body, and push up. From there, think of downward dog. Push your hips up to the sky. Walk your hands in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, make sure you're not locking or hyperextending the knees. And use your abdominals to slowly roll up. My battery's dying on me. Inhale. Exhale. And stretch. And we'll do 1 more. You can add a little rotation here. Bring your arm across the body back to the side, and up. You can do the same on this side too, as long as you're not feeling any pain in your knees or your hips. And then make sure you get the other side. So I'm gonna inhale, exhale. Still thinking about shoulders, staying square. And up. Inhale, exhale, and add that rotation. Bring your arm across. And then other arm up, stretch. And you can add that rotation here. Come back to the side, up. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed that.